Howdy folks, it's Rich but Not Famous here with another poetry busking video, and today we're going to look at how to construct a menu of your work. I got mine from a commercial catering supplier. Just look at your local one online. I think I got mine from Nisbets, £5, and yeah, we're going to look into this now. Now this idea is only in its current incarnation, and you might find that you can use this as a foundation for creating different menus for yourself. For example, if I've been booked for a wedding or a festival, sometimes the organisers or the couple will pay me a flat rate to perform for the day. So I just take all the prices off, and then I can kind of like expand and really spend time with the client when I'm delivering a poem for them in the event. Your darker material might go really well at a metal festival, for instance. Think of your menu as a game that you're inviting someone to play. So the first page has my branding, social media links, how you can pay me. So that's iZettle by card or by Apple Pay. I just need to get PayPal on there soon as well. And also has links to my personal website as well. So here is an example menu. And there are price brackets from donations or pay as you feel all the way up to £25. And yes, I do have all of these poems memorised. It's worth noting, or something that I find helpful, is to list topics in your menu instead of the titles of the poems. It's important to make sure that your menu is easy to understand. Seeing the word quantum is a bit easier on the eye than seeing the title. The plank makes an ant look giant. The donation bracket here assures your client that you're not expecting to be paid. You've got to trust that performing someone for free who really appreciates it is much better than being paid by someone and only being half listened to. It's also good for people to see you doing this, because then someone might get curious enough to actually just buy a poem from you and see you around for a while and say, I've been seeing you do this thing, what are you doing? Give them the menu, that's what you're doing. So the poems I use in my donation bracket tend to be like charity based or really uplifting. You'll see why certain poems are like priced more expensively as we continue this episode. So yeah, there's a £3 bracket as well. I tend to make these short poems, humorous, maybe a little deeper. And the £5 bracket lets me use bolder and edgier material. It's quite a thing, having just met someone and just introduced them to this, see them go straight in at a £5 and go, oh, what's this all about? That kind of like that thread of curiosity. So I feel that should be reflected in the material that you're taking onto the street. And just occasionally someone may really love what you do and give you more than what the value of the poem was. And in that case, well, it's just, you have an infinite resource, give them another one for free. Then there's the £10 specials, which come with a book. Now, this is where I put poems that are taxing on my voice, or maybe they're a little risque to be performed in public. My poem on psychology once ruined my voice at a festival because it was in my donation bracket when I first started this, and it involves quite a lot of accent changes, and yeah, absolutely knackered me. So that is a perfect example of a poem that would go in there. Also, we're at the point where we can start offering merchandise, so think creatively about how you can present yourself, badges, posters, maybe you can print the poems off for them in really nice typography, that kind of thing. In addition here, when I present my menu to someone and I'm walking them through it, I point out, I'd say something that isn't on the menu, which that my specials are half price if they don't want to book. And this is a way that you can signpost to your client that you're opening to haggling as well. Then there's a £25 poem. Yes, £25 for one poem, and for two very good reasons. Firstly, it's the most taxing on my voice because there's two very long screens in it, and secondly, it comes with a lifetime membership to my ever-expanding online poetry anthology. No one has yet paid to hear it, but it serves as an upper limit, so what we have is a range of prices from you don't have to pay anything all the way up to you can pay a lot. Think of it, this is busking psychology. If someone says you're operating on donations, you might not get anything. If you say to them that you can charge £25 for a poem, £5 to £10 might not seem stingy. That gives them the kind of middle ground for them to play with you. Also, on a note of the menu as a whole, when you present your menu to someone, it's worth walking them through it. So, as an example, so I've just given you this menu and say to you, okay, so this is a list of the topics of some of my memorised poems. I've got a donation bracket here, so if you don't have anything on you, or if you don't want to give me anything, you don't have to. I'll perform for you for free anyway. Or, if you're more daring, you can try something priced. My specials are all half price without a book, and please feel free to take photos and videos. And certainly don't be shy about making multiple menus and rotating your work. Some poems might be cheaper on some days, you could take a themed menu out. If, for instance, you've got a poem on physics and you stop someone who is a physicist, just offer that to them for free. That way you can think of repertoire that's not on your menu as kind of like under the table stuff, like, yeah, I don't usually do this in public. And varying your material certainly helps keep you from getting bored of it as well. So this model using a menu works a little more consistently than just operating on donations. This way, I can average £10 an hour in the street, more in a festival. I do sometimes carry the dark stuff out with me as well. It's in the back just in case someone is kind of like really into poetry and the darker side of it, but obviously presenting it to children, it's a big no-go. So the exercise for this episode obviously is make a menu. Even just a laminated piece of A5 will do to start with. Put between 3 and 5 topics on it and title it Donations Welcome For with poetry menu above that. Then try the street again with your new secret weapon. So, that's it for now, folks. Thank you very much for listening. Links again in the description. Join me next time for equipment and merchandise.